You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week. Featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Derrial Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I'm your host, Derrial Christon, and joining me today is the beautiful Courtney Stewart.
Thank
sorry,
you.
Jesse.
Oh, you thought she was beautiful, Jesse? Okay.
Just kidding.
The extra handsome Jesse Janedy. And our very special guest today, I'm going to call him the iconic
Yes.
Larenz Tate is in the house with us today.
Yes.
Iconic. You
That's
like
the first
that,
time
right?
I got that.
Iconic.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Wow.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank you for
back.
having me back
He's going to
again.
join us today. We're going to talk about his new show, a movie premiering on TV One on Saturday night. But first, we're going to talk about the hot topics for today, which we'll be kind of briefing you right now. First up is White Water premiering Saturday, which I just said, which will be one of our topics. Bobbi Kristina is fighting for her life, and Wikipedia is looking to improve Black history.
Interesting.
That and many more. But first, I want to read the buzz meter question from last week, which was, do you think ABC was trying to get rid of Rosie Perez? You guys voted. We had a big discussion about it last week. You guys said yes at 76% and no at 24%.
Interesting.
They know what's up.
I mean, all the reports were saying that
They were.
it was pretty obvious what ABC
Yeah.
was trying to do. So
But she's there until August, whenever she comes back.
whenever she comes back.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all
We'll
right.
Take her while we can have her.
We'll take her while we have her. All right, and then today's buzzer meter question is, do you think that Stevie Wonder helped make what national holiday? You guys get a multiple choice this week. A is Black History Month, B is Memorial Day, or C, MLK Day.
Okay.
Let us know your answers, and
Figure it
we'll
out.
figure that out. Look up Wikipedia.
Look in
No,
Wikipedia.
don't cheat. Try to answer.
Right, yeah,
Try
don't
to
cheat. Don't
answer it
cheat. Yeah, let me
yourself.
not promote cheating.
See
Right.
what you
That's why I've been
know.
looking at all these online quiz things. Like anyone can just look up the answer.
That's right. Yes.
Whatever.
All right,
what you
Mr.
know.
Lorenz Tate.
Hey.
We are happy to have you, man.
Thank you for having me back. I have the answer to that.
Do you?
Well, don't give it.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
because then we have to change the buzzer
We'll
meter
have
question,
to get
right?
yours in after
Right.
you're done, and then
No,
we'll be like,
okay, it's all
Lorenz
good.
knew it, y'all.
No, it's all good. No, thanks for having me back, guys.
You got Whitewater coming out this Saturday, TV One.
Yes, Whitewater, important movie. It deals with the tension and so the racism that was happening in Alabama, 1963 during the Civil Rights era. But what's cool about this story, unlike some of the civil rights films, mostly is told from an adult's point of view. This story, Whitewater, is told from a 7-8-year-old child's point of view, and what it was like for him dealing with segregation, and the fact that he can't wrap his mind around people being split up. Whites only bathrooms over here, black only or colored only bathrooms over there, even down to the most neutral thing that that Earth can provide for us is water.
Yeah.
How can you have a whites only water fountain
crazy.
versus a blacks only? And for his 8-year-old, he can't wrap his mind around it. And all the time that he's thinking about trying the whites only water, he's been told, listen, you cannot do that. That's not only is it against the law, you can be in grave danger. People have gotten hurt for doing less.
Yeah.
And the more you tell a kid not to do something, they're gonna want to do
Right.
it. And he saw a friend of his who happens to be a white kid drinking from the white side of the water, and he said that. And the kid looked like this water was everything. He was having the best time drinking this water, not knowing he was just thirsty.
Right.
And, he himself, the little kid who's Michael, drinks out of the blacks only, and he's like, this is just some regular water. That has to be the holy water. That's the holy water right there. And so obviously being in a small town in 1963, it's segregation, so he doesn't have any of those white water fountains around him. So his whole plight is he's going to find. It doesn't matter if he's going into the wrong territory, the places that he never should go.
Yeah.
I played his father, who's a jazz musician, a guy who's traveled quite a bit. He's a bit of a Rolling Stone, ladies man, coming to the town. He gets like with the women. But the thing about it, although my character Terrence and the boy's mom, who is played by the talented Sharon Lill, although our characters aren't together as a couple, they have an understanding of what it means to instill all the right morals into this boy, to co-parent in a real way. And I was drawn to the movie because I myself have 3 boys. We talk about racism, and eventually it'll come up. And what a beautiful way to sort of lay it out from an innocent point of view, and how a child sees the world. And even a child, a baby, can understand the senselessness and the absurdity of segregation. How stupid was that? And it was law. You know what I mean? And so it's a movie that has a lot of charm to it. It's heartfelt, and that's what I liked about it. It wasn't like even though we're dealing with the tension and the racial matters, it doesn't precede the movie. It's really about this boy's journey and coming of age and really trying to understand the world that he lived in at that time. And right now, a lot of that same stuff is surfacing.
It's scary.
And you would think, after all the fighting that we've and all the forward movement that we've had since then, with the likes of MLK and many others, you would think like, we wouldn't be dealing with some of these. But it's 2014, 15. It was, especially in 14, we had some serious racial tension. And so again, it's timely. Unfortunately, there's parallels, but it's timely to talk about it. And I'm always trying to tell people it's okay. And this movie is nice enough for people from all ages to watch it. I'm going to be watching it with my kids. It's definitely hence why it's told from a child's point of view.
And then I know that the character who plays your son is played by twins, actually, Amir and Amari.
Yeah.
And now, did they get a full understanding? You were kind of talking about it a little bit before, but did they get a real full understanding of what it was like to not be able to drink water during that time period as they were taping the film? Their parents were amazing. They were on set all the time, and they got it. They're very intelligent, so they understood it. But I don't think, it really, hit home to them until they got on set and we were in the South and we're in these small towns and people start talking about and telling stories. And the things, because we didn't grow up where it was segregation, but my mother and my grandmother's, and to hear those kinds of stories is when it really hits home. The whole time I was filming in Alabama, I'm on the phone with my grandmothers. They're in Chicago, but they're originally from the South, Georgia and Arkansas, and that was like, we just talk nonstop, and what an experience for me, because I hadn't really touched on a movie that dealt with these kind of issues. But man, I was out there, man, and we were filming on location, and we were on land that was plantations, man. The history.
And I'm thinking, wow. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. So we're on this piece of property, beautiful property that once was a plantation, and there's a small structure that was still standing that we said, we want to use that as the exterior of this juke joint where my character plays music, because prohibition and whatever, and that structure actually was a slave quarter.
Wow.
Blew my mind.
I mean, just the history of that.
What? They built this, obviously they built the plantation, they built the buildings and the mansions, but this is where they lived, and where they and to see that and experience what that felt like, and it was such an eerie thing because we were out at night, 3-4 in the morning, and it was just quiet. You just hear the crickets, all the critters and all this stuff, and you seeing this structure that's still there, man, and I'm like, wow. Slaves lived there.
Yeah, and just the spirit. I mean, I believe in spirits and things. Just
it was heavy, man.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting experience for me. Obviously, the movie is not about slavery, but the fact that in 2015 that structure is still there, and lasted for hundreds of years. And like you said, the spirit of what that is and what life was like at a time where there was a lot of struggle, man, and a lot of tension. And we've come a long way from that, but there's still the mentality of the nonsense. And again, a boy can even point that out.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite scenes in the film?
I had a lot of great scenes. One of the scenes that was really special to me, a couple of them, was the moments that my character Terrence, even though he's not in his life day to day, the metaphors that he's giving him, or the messages that he's instilling in his child is like, look, don't let your ethnicity define who you are, or stop you or hinder you. Celebrate that. You can do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. Of course, the boy takes it for sales value. Oh, Daddy said I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
Find that. I'm going for it. And obviously it caused problems with the mom, because I'm trying to, my character's trying to, instill something like, listen, you don't have to allow people to judge you in a way that stops you from doing anything in the world, and let the world see you in your greatest glory, and how we see ourselves in our own communities. And oftentimes, people talk about why do we don't want to talk, do these kinds of films or the subject matter. Yeah. We have movies like Selma, we have movies like The Butler. I serve as a producer on this movie, and we were trying to get it out there to the distributors, and I'm happy that TV One really is champion to put this out there, and it's great because we need that outlet. But it's tough, and only a few movies will come in this form at a time. You know what I mean? So you got Selma right now. It's a
good time. Black History Month going on. It's a good period to roll in there.
We're gonna roll it in. Otherwise, it'd be a little tough, and we know that. And so, what I want to encourage people, because they always say, people want to hear other stories, and I do too. But I think there's a lot of great stories to be told in the backdrop of yesteryear. It's okay. We don't always have to worry about the racial tension in all of our movies, because it's an African American film, or has African American stars. In that time, everybody wasn't always feeling the pressure of the foot on the neck, man. And, because I heard great stories from my grandmothers and grandfathers and everybody that came before us, and just great stuff to be told. It looms in the back, but that wasn't what they were dealing with every moment of their life, and we need to be able to tell wonderful stories.
I'm excited to see it because, like you were saying, to tell the story from a child's point of view, it reminds me, there's a Netflix movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and it was about the concentration camps, and these two boys have no idea what's going on. So I couldn't really relate to the movie, but seeing it through these little kids, talking about you breaking it down to a childlike mentality. I think it's important today with the media putting all this stuff in kids' heads and growing up to hear it from that perspective.
Yeah, it's something we have something kind of similar in the movie where his best friend, they see these white sheets, these hooded sheets, and they don't know what that is. So it says that, and these are just clothes to them.
Yep.
You feel me? And so it says that racism is a taught thing. Yeah. They're not born that way. So all this preconceived ideas or judgments that we have about people's ethnicity or, their sexual preference, those are all things that are taught, man. People aren't born to be that way. Yeah. And so, I wanted to do something a little different, man.
And then we're also, we're coming up on a lot of the award season. NAACPs are Friday. We have the Oscars coming in. Yeah. And we've heard a lot of controversy about the lack of diversity at the Oscars this year. Now, you've been in this business for a long time. Do you feel that Hollywood is still accepting of black films and black filmmakers and really wanting them to progress in the industry?
It seems like one at a time.
Right. That one person gets in, right.
You get this year is you.
Right.
This year. But I'm happy because it was at a point where, there was no African American or diversity. The presence wasn't felt at all for years. I mean, before, Denzel's and the Morgans and everybody came along and really started, putting it down. I mean, 80s and the 90s, we didn't have a presence at the Oscars. It was like, there were some great movies that we were making, and to be acknowledged and really celebrate it at the highest honors is great. So we're happy for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like pebbles in a bucket.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just
Yeah.
like, you know, and it's great. So I'll accept that. I'm happy for that. And we celebrate that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, there's other movies we want to celebrate.
Right.
There's other movies there's other performances. But again, it's good to see it, and I hope that we can continue to tell different kinds of stories and encourage Hollywood to say it's okay to do these movies, talk about it, enjoy it, and again, everything doesn't have to feel like, do I need to cover my eyes?
Right.
Can I walk out?
Can I deal with it? Right.
Can I go to the store and say what's up to Jamal? Tyreek, can I?
Right.
Is it okay for me to come in contact with Clarence? It's like,
I love you kept all the names black too. Like I love it. Jamal, Tyreek. I love it.
Haywood, you know. It's okay.
It's cool.
We can do it.
And then with your many roles, you also have House of Lies that you're
Yes.
starring in. So what can we expect from your character?
Listen, my character on House of Lies, I'm back for season 4. I play Malcolm Khan, that's Marty Khan's brother,
Yep.
Don Cheadle. And my character is basically, I come into the house to, shake things up. He's the guy who is the family person that likes to, agitate family issues. And Don's character hates when I show up because my character, I don't need anything for him. And I'm gonna call him on all his craziness and his antics and, some of his superficial points of view. I'm gonna call it on him.
You're a good
And
brother.
I'm a good brother, but then I'm doing it for my own personal gain
Right.
too. I want a little something too. And so this season, my character's trying to create a talk show for himself. And because he's a voice of the people, all people, but really black people, and he's trying to create a show called like Black Talk or Black something or another, and it's in his mind that he's putting out there. It's just really to uplift our people. But Don is like, you just trying to, get some swag and you just want girls to follow you. That's true. But yeah, so we got some funny stuff,
is
man.
true.
Yeah, it's some funny stuff that's going on, man. I'm happy that I'm able to do a combination of things with acting, producing, directing. It's all fun.
Is there a role that you haven't played that you would like to play? I mean, some people say they want to be a superhero.
James Bond.
James Bond. All right.
James
you
Bond.
And Idris,
It is,
you and
man.
Idris can duke it out.
I know he a little taller than me. It's okay, Idris. You know what I'm saying? The last James Bond wasn't 6'5".
That
you
is
like
true.
that?
True.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
no. Actually, to be honest, we talk about movies back in the days. I'm a big fight fan, boxing, and I would love to do something with Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson is the person that Muhammad Ali looked up to. Obviously, Ray Leonard took Sugar from the Sugar Ray
Right.
Robinson,
Yeah.
and his story is really amazing. And he was an incredible boxer. Had issues, being there for his kids, but he was, a great businessman. Did a lot of things that people wouldn't think that African American men were doing back at that time with their celebrity or their success in the sports world, and it was pretty incredible. And I like to get in there and mix it up. So.
Well, we love to see it.
Biopic.
Right.
Biopic.
Yes.
And we know you got to get out of here because you
Yes.
got many more stops today to
Yeah.
promote your movie that's coming out this Saturday on TV1, Whitewater.
Yes.
But thank you for coming in today and letting us
you.
know what the movie's all about. We'll definitely be tuning in, and I'm sure our listeners and
Checking it
viewers
out.
will as well.
Always a pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me.
And where can people find you on social media?
Everything is always at Larenz Tate, Larenz Tate, Larenz Tate.
Boom.
Boom.
Find 'em.
All right. Well, check out
Only
that
one.
movie. And thank you, Lorenz. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
All right, we're going to move on to our hot topics of the week, starting off with the trending topics with DJ Jesse J.
All right, so as we all know, Bobbi Kristina she was actually just transferred hospitals last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it
I
was
believe it
yesterday.
was last night. So obviously she was found in her bathtub. No one knows exactly what is the cause of this. They're alluding it might be drugs, but it was very similar to how they found her mother. There's also a rumor going around stating that she might already be on life support, and that's why they changed hospitals. We have a couple of people down in Atlanta now who are saying that she is on a ventilation thing, and she is on she's brain dead right now. So a lot of things are going on with this. The Houston family and the Brown family are not happy. They're not happy about this hospital change either. Apparently they've been getting into fights about who has access in the hospital. The Houstons feel the Browns act up, and that's what they're bothered by. More importantly, I just think we need to figure out who needs to be by her side versus creating this argument and fight. Well, there's also some other fights going on with this whole situation. We all know her boo, Mr. Nick Gordon. Well, there's been rumors that they got married last year. They showed the rings and whatnot. But Bobbi Brown's attorney says Bobbi Kristina is not and has never been married, according to Nick Gordon. Married to Nick Gordon. Apparently they had a ceremony, but there's no legal documents because people, the family's worried about, like, if she's to pass away, is she going to get her mother's estate? Will he get it? It's a lot going on. I mean, what have you guys been thinking about this? Because I haven't talked to you guys all week about it.
I know. It's so sad. I can't even. I personally think when they said she was transferred hospitals, but they weren't saying, like, oh, but she's stable and needs to go to another facility. My first thought is that she was brain dead and possibly going somewhere where she would just be on life support until the family decides how long they are willing to keep her on life support or if they're ready to pull the plug. So that was my initial thought, and it's just horrific. Like, I can't even fathom what the family is going through right now.
How quickly did we find out? I can't remember with Whitney. Did we find out that it was drugs?
It was pretty quick.
I don't feel like it was that because people were already saying that she had been drinking that night, and I mean, it was fairly circulated that it was probably drugs.
Yeah.
There was some mixture of the sort early on, and then it was confirmed once they do toxicology, which usually takes like a week or two.
Yeah,
something like that.
So that's probably why they haven't released anything yet.
Possibly,
yeah.
But she's also not, gone. Technically, or at least what they're reporting.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the entire thing to me is just sad because obviously we're coming on the 3rd-year anniversary for Whitney's death, and then the format that Bobbi Kristina did it in the same bathtub kind of scenario. It's eerie.
The Grammys are coming up.
Yeah, the Grammys are coming up. I mean, it's really crazy, and it's also sad that a lot of times during these periods, that's when fights do break out. They were saying that Nick Gordon was not allowed in the hospital, and I found it interesting that they were saying the only people who were by Bobbi Kristina's side was Bobbi Brown, I think some of her aunt, and then Tyler Perry.
Well, Tyler is the one that supposedly flew Bobbi out from L.A. because he has a plane, so he was able to get Bobbi to Los Angeles, to Atlanta from Los Angeles. So
I thought it was interesting.
Why wouldn't you guys allow this kid to be by her side?
It's
well, they're
that's
saying
what
that
families do,
Yeah, but they're saying that he's been disrespectful to the family. They said this has kind of been going on for a while. That It's almost the weird thing about this is almost emulating the same things that happened to Whitney because Bobbi Brown was like the bad boy and they blame Bobbi for everything in regards to Whitney, and it's almost like the same thing is happening with Bobbi Kristina. They're saying Nick maybe was a bad influence and his friend who was also with him, the Max Lomas guy who was on the scene when Bobbi Kristina was found, he's a drug dealer or something like that. So it's kind of an interesting play on how it's imitating the same scenario, But they said that he was disrespectful to the family. They said that he's kind of had curse out sessions with some of the family. He has talked a lot of things about the family.
But in the end, she's dying, and this is the person that she was choosing to be with. So it just sucks because I can't imagine being him because on some level, he's not just taking advantage of her. He has some emotional connection or whatever it is to her. So the idea that he isn't able to, if she is gone, to be able to give his farewells and be there with her as it is coming to an end is tragic on all accounts.
And I look at it as who knows what conversations they've had. Who knows how Bobbi felt about any of those people. Right. He probably does. Yeah. So I can see it just being flipped and turned on him, and it's just an interesting situation.
I mean, I hope she pulls through it. They said that Bobbi has just been, which you would be, that's your daughter, and then you lost your ex-wife, but they said that he's just been crazy. You know, just he
imagine.
can't even kind of deal with all this stuff that's going on. And I know that they were saying that she's been blinking, and they were in hopes that, you know, maybe by her blinking that she's going to come out of it. But then another doctor is saying that there's little that they can do, and that it doesn't look good still. So it's, you know, it's touch and go, I think, regardless. So the prayers go out to the family, and hopefully she can pull through this.
Absolutely. On a more positive note, Detroit. There's something positive coming out of Detroit, you guys.
Yes.
Finally.
56-year-old
Good
James
stuff.
Robertson. This man. So listen to this. He works at a factory plant, right? He makes $10.55 an hour. In 2005, his 1988 Honda Accord died, and he could not finance a new car. So he walks 23 miles to work every day. That's a 4-hour commute.
By foot.
By foot.
Then that's just two work.
Actually, he takes buses to a certain place, and then he walks the 23 miles.
Wow.
All right. Now, shout out to Evan Leedy, 19-year-old, living out in Detroit at Wayne State University. He heard this guy's story, and he was like, this is amazing. I want to start a GoFundMe campaign. He started this just to raise $5,000. He wanted to raise $5,000. He got it in 1 hour, and by the end of the weekend, he had raised $62,444.
Wow.
You can buy a car outright.
Yes, he can.
Actually, you could buy a couple.
Well,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, that money isn't even for a car. That money is going to go for insurance. It's going to go to gas. It's going to go to maintenance, because a local car dealership has offered to give Robertson a free
thank
car
you, Jesus. There are
of
angels.
his choice.
That's so
They were
awesome.
touched by his story and his whole situation. He never gets rides from people. He says, I just put a rhyme in my head, a beat, and I just do the walk. That's an amazing story.
I mean, that
makes
needs
me
to be
very
a
happy,
commercial,
y'all.
honestly.
That should be a commercial.
That should be a commercial.
That would be an amazing commercial.
Yeah. Just that story alone and the dedication to that. I mean,
Yes.
hands down, shout out to that young
Everybody
man.
calling in, saying the word, talking about, I can't get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what the guy, his boss at the plant had said, I base attendance off of this man. This man never finds an excuse to not come to work, and people with a Pontiac 10 minutes away be trying to call out all the time.
That's crazy.
And he's probably healthier than most people around. I mean, walking that amount of miles every day.
He spends the same amount of time walking that he spends on shift at work. If it's 4 hours each way, whew.
Yeah,
and for
he
10
needs,
years?
Yeah, he needs a commercial.
He says that he stays caffeinated on his walk by downing 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew.
Now that part.
Now, brother.
Now see, I just gave it a compliment. You went and messed it up. I mean, now you got to watch the caffeine and the Mountain Dews, you know.
Yeah, but now we know who's going to do the commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
That's
true.
exactly
That
what
is
you
true.
meant, Mountain Dew.
Good point.
Mountain Dew
Good
can
point,
make you
Stephen
go.
from the booth. Good point, Stephen from the booth.
Who needs Gatorade?
Right.
You can have Mountain Dew.
Right.
Oh, well, so moving on from that, whatever you guys, make sure you guys check out our sister site, not only BHL, but our sister site, AfterBuzzTV.com. We are the #1 after show network. Whatever your favorite TV show is, as soon as it's done, check out AfterBuzzTV.com, and we'll be talking about it. AfterBuzz.
All right, moving on to Gossip with Courtney Stewart.
Gossip. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, you guys. Once again, my technology is not working with me, so my print is hecka small, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so first up we have Neverland Ranch. For those of you that don't know what that is, that was the wonderfully large estate that Mr. Michael Jackson owned for quite some time. It was a theme park and just a zoo at one point also was on the grounds, and it's this amazing property that has been out of his possession. Actually, he lost it in 2008, the year before his death. So he was not in possession of it when he died, but it's on the market. So there's been a few buyers coming around, like speculating on what we should do with it. A couple buyers were like, we want to make this like Jacko-land. Like they want to, get some memorabilia,
Like a
sort
Dollywood?
of like kind of Dollywood, or more like Graceland for Elvis. So they really want to do that, but there's a local unnamed businessman who put in an offer, even though it's on the market for $75 million. This guy put in an offer for $40 million, and he says that he would like to turn it into...
Pause, the dramatic pause.
a retreat for children of sexual abuse. And his goal is for the place to be used to help children in a serene setting to recover from the trauma of sexual abuse. The plan is to have children come there for treatment, and they will hire trained therapists who would help the children through equine assisted therapy, basically using the horses to make the kids feel better.
Okay. Yeah, so, when I first initially read this, I thought it was for substance abuse. So my initial thought was, this is kind of a good idea.
Yeah, I'm okay with substance
I'm okay
abuse.
with them. Like, Michael, towards the end, we know how he died, and
yes.
maybe this could be something
be a
that was
good
a
legacy,
positive
yeah.
kind of legacy going on with the ranch. But then child abuse, Michael was cleared of all charges.
Yes.
So it gives bad taste to me.
It definitely does. I mean, for me, the only thing that this should have ever been turned into is, like you were saying, a Graceland for Michael Jackson. I mean, the fact, like, as you were sitting there talking about the story, I'm like, the fact that we even have to explain what Neverland is, one, I'm getting old. And I realized that after the Missy Elliott thing with the Super Bowl.
Ooh, didn't we all?
But I feel like doing something like this, like, it's either, I don't know if this is a joke or if this is just someone trying, I mean, it tarnishes Michael Jackson's name even more. And even if it's coming from a good place, it's just like really out of all the places, serene setting, bitch, you could have been at the beach in Santa Monica or something, you know what I mean? Like, somewhere. I just feel like I would love to visit Neverland and have the experience of Michael Jackson, and I don't know, I just think that would be a better taste in his memory.
Yeah.
They have some concern. The people that want to turn it into Jack-O-Land.
I don't like that.
I don't like
that
that.
I don't like Jack-O-Land.
I don't know if that's like
Or is
media
that like
that came up with like
I
a
feel
joke.
because that's what they
I'm
always used to
pretty
call
sure
them.
it's
So I feel like that's media.
I think it's media, but there's concerns about them actually being able to like get rights to his likeness and like having to deal with the family and who's owning what, and might become a problem, which is why that wasn't, I guess, probably the immediate, like, to make it successful and financially viable, like getting all those rights and all of that could turn into a financial
Y'all are mad.
disaster.
Just leave Michael alone.
Just leave it. I mean, I know they got to get
Make
rid
it a
of it.
museum or something.
A museum for music, or I don't know, but don't do the sexually abused thing.
I want to know what the Jacksons are saying about it. I didn't see anything,
I
any
couldn't find
comments yet on
anything
what
from
they were
comments.
saying.
The only thing I could find that just tore at my heartstrings was little Paris Jackson apparently takes trips there quite often, and she like goes there and she like planted a little tree where the Ferris wheel used to be or something, and like it's a place where she goes to get recentered. And I was just like, oh, that should be in their family.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't it kind of
taste.
remind you of like the guilty people being like, I'm so upset by these allegations that I'm going to open a center to help people who like. It's like
Exactly.
if Cosby opened like,
Oh,
I'm
God,
gonna
a rape
open a
clinic.
center for women who were abused or raped.
Yeah, that would be
Because I am
very
so
bad
upset
taste.
by these allegations that are not
it's
true.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I can't.
It just
It's terrible.
tarnishes everything.
It's terrible. Don't do it. Make it a happy place and bring the
Yeah.
Ferris wheel back and
Bring the Ferris
make it a
and the llamas.
exactly. We
And the
did
Baby
monkeys.
that.
llama don't need no drama. Sorry, I saw it on Instagram this morning.
Okay, I was like, what?
All right, moving on. Speaking of drama, there's lots of drama back in Sherri Shepherd's world. So, for those of you who also don't remember, last year, Miss Sherri Shepherd basically, separated from her husband and was pursuing a divorce, and then all hell broke loose. And it's all because they had signed contracts and put together a situation with a surrogate because Sherri was not able to have another child. And when she was with her husband, they had decided to go the surrogate route. So they got a surrogate. The surrogate was pregnant while, she was still pregnant when Sherri and Lamar Sally decided to part ways. Problem is that when they decided to part ways, Sherri also decided that she ain't gonna claim that baby.
How you doing?
So she filed, it was this whole crazy thing, Lamar filed in California, she filed in New Jersey, both of them trying to avoid different laws in different states, and I don't understand how they could pull that off. But anyway, we are now here and there is a baby in the picture. The baby has been born to the surrogate named Jessica Bartholomew. The problem is that didn't no mama show up when the baby was born. So by default, the surrogate had to put her name on the birth certificate as the non-custodial parent. So now, Lamar, Sherri's soon-to-be ex-husband, because I don't think the divorce has gone through yet,
No, I don't think so.
he has physical custody of the child, but has no income. So he applied, because he's back in California, he applied for Medi-Cal and public assistance. In doing that, the state goes after the other parent for child support. And guess who that parent is? Jessica Bartholomew, the surrogate, who this child technically is not any biological anything of her because they used Lamar's sperm and they found an egg from a black woman. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know why that made me laugh, but like I was thinking this poor white woman has got to like get a child
black
support
baby.
for the black
I
baby.
know. I
And
thought
she's
about that
like,
same
"What?"
thing. I know.
This gotta be a real life lesson for you, girl.
Nonetheless, Jessica Bartholomew, the surrogate, spoke out, and she basically said that she was very disappointed in Sherri, and that Sherri didn't even call her to like say, you know what, I'm not doing this. She just didn't show up, even after they had gone to, I guess they went to the 25-week appointment, and Sherri was still happy and excited about the baby, etc. Sherri's argument has been that she believes that Lamar bamboozled her essentially, and the reason he did the whole surrogate thing was because he wanted to have a financial hold on Sherri because he knew if he had the baby, they could get a divorce, and
he would
she
get
has so
child
much
support
money, so
money.
he would get
Yeah.
child support to live off of and not have to do that. So basically, what you're saying is that don't be a surrogate child because you might end up being a mama.
I'm just like, Sherri, you're too smart and old for this to be not thinking this really clearly through. Like, I am very disappointed with Sherri Shepherd on this situation.
Yeah, because at first I was kind of like, I totally buy that maybe Lamar's heart was not entirely in the right place. But then when it goes back, because at first we weren't sure, like, contractually, like, did they actually sign on as
Yeah, that's what I was
surrogates? Did he
trying to
kind of
figure
go
out.
through
Yeah.
with it on his own?
Yeah.
But the reports currently, and they could be incorrect, but reports currently are that she was signed under contract for this surrogate situation, but they didn't go through like a major surrogate agency, which is why this Jessica woman is also now really vulnerable because maybe it was a private sort of situation that didn't go well. But if the things that are being reported are true, Sherri, you abandoned your baby.
Yeah, I mean, Sherri's hardcore with it too because they also said that she revoked the child from her own health insurance. So I was like, now that is some serious stuff right there.
But it's because if she shows any like care and taking care of the baby, that's proof that she's sort of claiming the child as her own. So maybe legally it makes sense for her to do that if she's not trying to claim it. I just can't understand.
This is weird.
There has to be more to it. She can't be that like.
Yeah. And we love Sherri. I
We
mean,
love
she's a
Sherri.
supporter of Black Hollywood Live, but it has to be more to the story, I'm hoping.
I'm hoping, but then it doesn't really look like it because I mean, she did talk about wanting to get a surrogate on national television
She did.
and going to get a surrogate on national television. So it's not like she wasn't on board at some point.
But I just think it has
And
something
you
to
signed
do.
a paper.
It's just a matter at what point did you get on board and.
But I think it's still, there's lots of things we don't know between her and her marriage that obviously changed her opinion
of course,
clearly.
which makes him flawed, but you
know.
still signed up for a baby that
Yeah,
you.
you didn't
Yeah, the
have
baby
to sign up
suffers
for
the
that.
most, so hopefully they can get that together.
Poor kid.
Lamar, get a
I hope
job.
Jessica takes this child, and this is a lesson from God, and she's gonna raise this baby. And
Well, I mean, I think Lamar should keep him. It's his son.
It's his son, yeah.
It's his son, and he should raise him, and he should get a job.
Yeah.
And then
that's
keep.
why
I mean,
worry.
if you
maybe Lamar and Jessica should end
Yeah,
up with
the
each other.
reality is that Lamar should
Maybe-
just
maybe they
get
should
a
be the new
job
couple.
and take his son and raise his son and let her look like a shady,
Yep.
trifling woman that just left her kid and be done with it and stop trying to get her money and just go make your own money and raise your kid.
Yeah, that's
And
the great
That's
campaign.
the
Go
real.
PR.
I mean, that's what you really should be doing.
Right, that was a
Lamar.
good quick. Right, I like that, Courtney.
I'm just saying.
You put a positive
because
spin
you
on
always
it.
trying to like put your energy and your need into somebody else. Stop trying to get her money. Go get a job and just be like, bye. And everybody will look at her like, ooh, Sherri.
That is true. Well, hopefully they can get that
like,
out.
ooh.
Hopefully they can get that together because the baby's the only one who really suffers. So
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Thank God for Obamacare, though. You got a chance, bro.
you get a chance. All right, moving on. We're going to move on to our hot topics. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone to go to iTunes, give us a rating and comment. We are featured this month on iTunes. All of our Black Hollywood Live shows are there. Phenomenal Woman, The Beat, which Jesse hosts, Fashion 401. We had Larenz Tate in the house today. We actually did an interview with him
Check
for
out his
Portraits.
full
You can check out
portraits.
his full Portraits interview there. Give us a rating, comment, let us know what you like or dislike, and we will continue to build that programming. But definitely go to iTunes.
Thank you, iTunes.
Thank you, iTunes. Shout out to iTunes. All right, here's our EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Spotlight of the week.
Well, NFLer Warren Sapp was
Oh,
quite busy
God.
this weekend in Phoenix. Not only was he supposed to cover the Super Bowl, but he also was busy soliciting prostitutes.
Hey.
Hey!
Covering them sheets.
That's right. Well, apparently what happened... Apparently, what happened, he was there, as I mentioned, covering the Super Bowl for the NFL Network, and Warren was pretty busy. He was caught and arrested with prostitutes, and apparently what happened was there were 2 women escorts that showed up at his hotel, I believe around 7 a.m., they were saying, which is quite early to get you busy on.
Hey,
you're an escort. That's high price. Warren Sapp got dollars, okay?
That's true.
He
That's
going
true.
through an agency.
That's
he
prime
ain't on the
time.
corner.
Well, the 2 women showed up at his hotel. Apparently, there was a dispute about money, and things
That's
turned a
what
little physical.
happened.
The women claimed
Physical.
that he allegedly got physical with both of them.
my.
Just wanted
And the
that
argument
money.
not only stayed in the room, it also went into the hotel
They probably-
hallway.
yeah, they were
So it was a
beating
lot
on his
going
ass.
on. Yeah. So the women actually received a citation, one for prostitution, and the other one was for a violation of city's escort permit requirements, whatever that may be.
Wait, what? Read that again?
Yeah, one. Okay, so women received citations. One was for prostitution. The other was for the violation of the city's escort permit
Oh,
requirements.
there is a permit.
There must be, yes.
Wait, they're in Arizona? I thought that was only in Vegas. Yeah, I thought it was
But
Nevada.
no, now that this is Arizona,
This
right?
is yeah,
Now
Arizona.
that we're saying this, my brother lived out in Arizona, and his now fiance was, I believe, she was referring to that prostitution is kind of legal out there.
Okay, I didn't know where you
I knew
were
it was in Nevada.
I knew
I didn't
Vegas,
know where you were
yeah.
going with that comment.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were
was
going.
like-
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got quiet for a second. I was like, where's he going? I was like, I don't know if you want to
say
tell that
on
business on
radio.
air right now, but okay, we'll go with it. But you know, this is not Warren Sapp's first arrest. Apparently, in 2014 in Miami, he had allegedly had battery charges towards him, and he was busted in 2010 for domestic battery. The charges were eventually dropped, but he has been fired from the NFL Network. So yes, he officially was fired.
Okay, explain something to me.
Screw
'cause
that agency
I'm
over
not a
there.
dude. Are hoes really that hard to come by? Because
sorry.
I mean-
I get like the whole idea, like the prostitute thing. It's easy and it's quick
It's
and it's a
discreet,
transaction and
supposed
it's
to
just
be.
like done.
And then you got to worry about the pregnancy because most of them aren't going to be trying to get pregnant. I would assume because they're paid. They want to just get their money and leave.
They're probably a lot of
I
them
mean,
can't.
but is it really like that hard to find a hoe? Like
It's
I wouldn't think so.
Right?
Super Bowl weekend
No.
is
That's
that.
what I
Every
said.
woman in the
And-
world is going to be a
and-
Super Bowl weekend.
on top of that, being Super Bowl weekend, you know the police are out in full
Well, that's what they
effect,
said.
especially with hookers.
They said that actually
So-
that the police were on high alert that weekend for prostitution.
Exactly.
So it
So
wasn't
why
a very
would you
smart
even
move by Warren
bother?
Sapp.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just look at it like Warren, like exactly, like you know what I mean. Go find you a nice little girl, a little freak under the sheets. You know what I mean? But then this is like, but I get it to a certain point of these guys. They want, if it's through an agency,
Yeah,
or whatever,
like
they
a
want
short-
some
It's
sort of
clean, yeah.
discretion.
Yeah,
They know
discretion.
It's,
And
they might
discretion.
want something
They want
nasty.
clean.
They want
or
something
like
nasty.
that, you
That's
know
really
I mean?
what it
It's
is.
like, yeah,
They like,
he
I
want
wanna
to
be
get
able
duct
to
taped
tie
to a
you up
wall.
and, like, yeah.
They play with his balls with like a ostrich feather or something.
Yeah, he wants
Look at
something
his
real nasty. That's
toes.
probably what it
Put 'em
is.
Yeah, I got all these
Because,
visuals
Like a
in my
regular
head
hoe
now.
would be like, oh, I thought we was just gonna do it. Oh
Right.
no,
And then you got to worry about
not
her
this.
trying to get
That's
your
how it
semen
is.
out of the condom later and put the tube up of it. You know, I'm just
I
saying.
mean, Warren Sapp just like to get his booty lit. That's all.
So I mean, listen.
Just kidding.
Whatever
That was
gets you off,
allegedly.
as
We're
long as
talking in the
you're
gossip
safe, it's
section.
fine. But don't
But
do it
it's not
Super Bowl
legal.
weekend
Like,
and
just-
don't do it
now
on
you
high
look like
alert
a
of
fool.
prostitution.
Well,
Right.
I
But
think
apparently it was legal. These bitches just didn't have the right.
Well, it's not legal because whatever they had, they didn't have it right. So.
I think the problem is that he should have given the money to Marshawn Lynch to run on the one, but he threw the money and it got intercepted by the police.
Oh, you got jokes there, Stephen, from the booth.
funny,
Hey,
funny,
hey.
funny.
Well, the unfortunate thing
Shout out
is
to the Patriots.
that is a job that is not available to him anymore, and
That
he is no longer an
sucks.
on-air personality for the NFL
I
Network.
mean, you're
So
a decent looking dude. Like,
Yeah, like-
I'd holler at you, Warren, if I was single. I wouldn't be mad.
I mean, I would, but now I know you fucking
That
prostitutes and whores.
we
I don't
can't
know
do
about
that. Now we can't be friends because your stuff is dirty.
You got that dirty.
yeah, you got that
And
dirty
you
stuff.
was dancing on Dancing with the Stars, all
Right.
jolly and I
He
would
was.
never think you were into hookers.
Girl, you
I
be real
can't.
surprised.
I know, and that's why it's so stressful.
That's why I just don't. I just be sitting in my
That's
chair
why I be
by
at home.
myself, right, reading my book, texting Courtney. Like,
Well, hopefully he
Why
won't
am I
make he won't make the headlines for this next story because the next story is on a positive note, but it's about
Yay.
Wikipedia, and they are doing a new edit campaign where they're gonna team up with the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, and they're having a Wikipedia edit-a-thon. So basically what the goal is to bring in new and improved content and narrative of Black history and culture of Black African Americans and make it up to date and make it legit. So, because, you know, a lot of times you go to Wikipedia and some stuff is a little random, a little suspect, or you find stuff that you just don't even find history about. Like, there's just lots of people that I've looked up that they have no information on it. So obviously the millennials are really targeting this as their guide to get information. So the Schomburg Center is really trying to improve all of that. What they're going to do is they're going to train participants to edit existing Wikipedia entries and add new entries for prominent African Americans who may be overlooked or just not included. The center director Khalil Muhammad said this: if millennials are looking up Ida B. Wells and Ida B. Wells isn't there, then Ida B. Wells doesn't count.
That's true.
And that's true.
And do y'all know who Ida B. Wells is?
Right. This is Black History Month. Do you know who that is?
We already gave him one buzzer meter question.
Stop getting lynched down there.
Right.
Look her up.
Right. Look her up. So I think this is a great thing. I mean, it's
cool.
really important, and I think that for the future, you want to have the correct information.
You do want to have the correct information.
And there's lots of people that should be included in Wikipedia who are African American historic people that aren't. So.
And the world we live in now, you can just go online and do it. Y'all remember Encyclopedia Britannica? I do.
I do.
Sure hated that.
You had to order a whole new set like every
Volume
year
7.
just to get new information.
Right. Volume 7.
Volume
Now
7A.
you can just type it in online and find it. So update that stuff.
Update it.
Yeah.
All
Shout
right.
out to Wikipedia, though.
Shout out to Wikipedia.
For existing.
For existing.
Because
Yes,
you're
exactly.
a great resource when you are accurate.
You are. All right, Courtney, where can your fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse, where can they find you?
At DJ Jesse J.
You can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I want to remind everyone to go to the BuzzMeter question, which is Stevie Wonder helped make what national holiday? And it's a multiple choice. A, Black History Month, B, Memorial Day, or C, MLK Day. You guys let us know your answers. We'll read those results next week. Also remind everyone to check out Larenz Tate's movie on TV One this Saturday, 8 p.m. Whitewater. Great movie, especially in support of Black History Month as we're starting off. Also go to iTunes.
Tell your white friends.
Tell your white friends
to watch it.
Right. A lot of people forgot that we can always drink from the same water fountain. So educate everybody.
You want some, Derrial?
That's right. Let me drink from your water. That's
share.
right. Yeah, ain't no water in there. All right. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.
From producers Maria Menounos, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.